catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
So let's get ready. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your girl, Crystal Bodie Smith, and your host for tonight. Once again, I showed you something, but you probably didn't hear it. I wanted you to know that you can find us on these different platforms. Okay, anywhere on these platforms is where you can find us. Storytime is where you connect with us. So thank you for waiting. Thank you for watching. We're so excited to have Lisa Stocks here because Lisa, this young lady, she's going to educate you, and she can be found on all the different platforms at Lisa J Stocks. And I'm excited to have her here tonight. So what I want to do is move this picture out the way and get ready to bring her up. I want you to receive her with a round of applause as we bring her up. Ladies and gentlemen. Miss Lisa, how you doing?
Pretty good. Hello, Crystal. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do, because what you do is so, so important. One moment, I got to make sure I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, because that's important. One moment. So I'd like to welcome you to Storytime. Storytime is a place where people share their life stories. And the reason why we started doing this, Lisa, is because everybody has one, right? And everybody is a person who has been through something that can educate, all right, that can educate us. And so what I'd like to do is I always like to start out by asking our guests to tell us a little bit about themselves and why they do what they do, a little bit about any information you want to share, whether it's where you're from, whether it's your background, your experience, why you're passionate about what you do. If you will share that information with us, and then we can kind of go from there.
Well, I think what really was kind of like the last straw with me that led me to become so passionate about this is after I was laid off multiple times. And I just really felt like I cannot be so dependent on corporate America. I need to get myself set and be ready for, those periods of time when I'm looking for my next role, which, became longer and longer as things progress after being laid off more than one time, as well as just being able to maximize the returns of my investments. And then another element to that was when you are changing jobs, whether it's due to layoff or just your own personal preference, then you're having these multiple investment accounts started from your 401k, most likely from these different companies. And these are things that need to be managed and handled. And that was a big part of me wanting to improve my financial outlook.
Well, let me ask you this. When you were a little girl, I mean, did you imagine yourself doing this, being a podcaster and coming out here educating people and speaking? Was you always outgoing?
No. I think I'm a rather shy person. And back when I was a little girl, there was no such thing. There was no social media and podcasting. I could have never imagined that the world would be like it is today. But no, I would say I'm a very, very quiet, shy person. But
That's interesting. So your friends or people who know you are probably surprised now to see that you have built the channel and that you're out here helping people and talking and coming out of your shell, huh?
I don't know if they're surprised. I doubt that they watch. So I doubt that they know what I do.
You know what? That's the interesting thing you said that. Let's talk about that a moment. Isn't it interesting how when we come out here and we're spreading all this information and this knowledge and we're doing what we do, a lot of time the support that we get is not the people we know. It's usually strangers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
But you know what? That's okay because I want genuine people that are interested. I want supporters, not subscribers. And so I can move forward with that because, I want to be here with who's interested and who wants to support my channel and be on this journey with me and learn more and want to tune in,
Yeah. So stocks, you love stocks. So you must be a numbers person, huh?
Yeah. So my background is that was always my favorite subject growing up. That has nothing to do with the stock market or investing, but math is what I love. Foreign language, science, doing a lab, all of those things were hard for me, but algebra, geometry, those type of things is where I liked my classes the most. And so my undergrad is in finance and business administration. And then I went on to take master's courses in accounting.
Okay. So for all of you out there watching right now live on Facebook and YouTube, and for those that come back for the replay for all the different places that we'll put this, all of us have jobs, right? You heard Lisa say that she became passionate about this when life happened. And life happens for all of us differently. Some of us get laid off. Some of us lose our job. Some of us go bankrupt. We do different things. And many of us get exposed to stock initially, sometimes through our job, through our corporation that maybe gives us access to a 401k. And sometimes the 401k gives us a way to break up those stocks to make up the 401k. So with that being the case, this would be very interesting to you because if you're like me, you probably have that. And then if you're also like me, you probably don't really pay it no mind. I told Lisa when I met her, I said, girl, let me tell you something. I have Robinhood, I have 401k, and I have all that, but I couldn't tell you nothing about where it is right now, how much it's in it, and I really didn't really pay it much mind. I only paid it mind when I go to it for the withdrawals and things like that. And she got on me about that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get personal for a minute, y'all, because this is about us being prepared for retirement. I'm a baby boomer, so I'm pushing. I just had a birthday. I just turned 66. So we want to be prepared, because when we see people out there that we pass every day, you can see the person that was prepared and the person that wasn't prepared. So Lisa, I want you to begin by letting individuals know why stock. Why stock is a great way to help us as we plan for our future, plan for retirement, and plan to exit from our job. Why stock?
Okay, so it's not necessarily going to be stocks. Like a lot of the stuff you sent me behind the scenes were individual stocks, but we have to remember that, there are funds, there are mutual funds, index funds, exchange traded funds. It's not that you have to know how to pick the Apple and the Microsoft and the Tesla. And, it doesn't have to be like that. So that's one thing I wanted to bring up. But I think it was back in the maybe early 80s. This is the way things shifted. Companies were getting away from doing the pension and things like that. So they were transitioning to this 401k, 403b, or these type of paths in order to give a little bit of assistance, I'm sure a lot less than they were prior, with their contribution, but putting the burden or putting the responsibility onto the employees in order to create their investment account for retirement. And so, it's kind of, it's not a choice. It's the way of life for the last, nearly 40 years. And so we have to be on board with it. And it's important. We know Social Security can barely make a dent in our, what we're going to need in retirement. Do many people even take the time to find out what is their Social Security check going to look like in retirement? If you're bringing in, several $1,000s a month, and then your Social Security check is going to be, $1,200, $1,400, $1,600, how are you going to live?
Right. And that's important. So you brought up something very important. You said that there's different means. You said 401k, you said mutual funds, we said stock. So in your opinion, you feel as though we need to have a little bit of each of them, would you say?
No, I'm saying what you're invested into through your company plan. You're going to be limited. If you work at a company, you're going to be limited in the choices of that particular company's plan. If you work with that. Don't just turn a blind eye to it. Don't just be defaulted into you don't know what and just leave it at that. Do your research, have an understanding of what you're invested into, what is the performance, and get out there and advocate for yourself. If you work for a company that doesn't have it built in, then you can create that for yourself. You're going to have to contact a brokerage company, open up a Roth IRA, fund it yourself, invest the money yourself. That's what I want to just stress, that it may not be, easy and built in the way it is for your best friend, but you have to find a way, and you have to, take it seriously. Start as early as possible, because like I'm trying to tie it back to that Social Security is not going to be enough. The system has created this, that they expect us to invest and be creating this investment account, which we can then draw from in our, who knows how long, that we're going to be in retirement for. This could be 20, 25, 30 years.
So let me ask you something. So you said in the beginning that you got exposed to it and really got serious about it when life happened for you. So if someone watched this show today and they wanted to get serious about it, what would be their first step?
Okay, so I was always serious about, no, I can't say I was always serious about it. I was always contributing to it, but as I got older and, was dealing with the layoffs, I took it more seriously. But the first step is, if you're working and it's an option at your job, okay, have an understanding. How much is the employer match? How much am I contributing? What am I invested into? What is the performance? Okay, I just don't want you to say, yeah, I do that. And there's more to it. I want you to have a true understanding. I want you to get on that investment calculator, and you have to get into a place where you're setting goals for yourselves. You have a standard on what you want your investment account to be achieving. I don't want you to be achieving 5% when the market over the last year is up 22%. I want you to have your eyes open to these things.
Okay, so sometimes people may feel like they don't know where to begin. So begin with your job. That's what I'm hearing Lisa say. Start with your job. If you have invested in something, you heard her say, ask about how much is the match. And sometimes when you find out how much they're matching, if you're not at your maximum, then maybe you might want to increase. I know I did that. That's one thing I did do, Lisa. I will give myself credit for that. Once I found out how much they were going to match, I went to the maximum because I wasn't at the maximum. So I would say that's a good starting place. Would you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I did something right there. That's good. Next, you said to find out what you're investing in. So that's where I kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I knew, I mean, I asked the question a few years ago and I wrote it down, but I obviously and really honestly have not really paid much attention to it since then. And so I'm being very transparent right now because one of the things I feel as though online, it helped us is we use ourselves sometimes. And so I told Lisa, I said, well, I want to get your help with it. Also, I talked to her about certain things that I do when I move my money around, because I told her that I'm a person that I've used my account for myself. Okay. Just to be transparent. What I have done is over the years, when I had hardships with cars or with my children, college, the different things that they call hardship, I would go to myself instead of going to others because I just felt like that was there for me. And some people don't do that because they want to make sure it's there for the latter years. For me, after watching a lot of people pass away in my family and everything, I kind of made sure I keep enough there for me. But I also know some people, I've seen people, Lisa, retire and go on the next day or never get to it because they pass away before they get to it. So I kind of have mixed feelings about that. So that's why I go ahead and go. If I needed something, I went to it. But I know you're not a fan of that, are you?
No, I'm not. And what you're saying, I've had this this experience in my own family. My grandmother, she passed away one of my grandmothers at about 67. My aunt passed away at 41. My dad at 56. So I definitely know that, we're not all in the position where we have that mindset to prepare for 85, 90 years old. But what if that is your path? We can't, I feel that it's important to be prepared because we don't know what to expect.
So when that happens, a person like myself now saying, okay, now that I met Lisa Stocks, now if I wanted to change my habits and go about doing something to preserve what's left, what avenue would you say I should take to do that?
Now, it's not a one size fit all thing. You shared your age already today. So, when you're at certain stages, you have to be ready to get yourself more in a preservation mode of just, get closer in those years of when you're going to be potentially wanting to draw from this retirement account on a regular basis. So at that point, you need to make things more conservative, more just, building dividends, just not in a place where if there is something that happens in the economy, you may not have 3, 4, 5 years to wait for the recovery like a younger person starting out is. And so you have to take the time to get your portfolio in line with that. So I just want to make sure to touch on that it's going to be what I would be saying to you is not what I would be saying to someone that's 30 years old.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about it for a minute. So for me, we understand what I would need to do, but for a younger person, for someone who has more time, that may be a little bit more aggressive and not so conservative, where should they begin?
Well, like I said, what's available through your employer's plan may have limitations. And so comb through that and find what is the best option that is available to you through the plan, because I want you to be able to maximize the plan, potentially get your full match. And then outside of that, if you want to do additional, or if you have jobs that you've left already in the past and you have different accounts that you're now going to be managing yourself and can change the investment choices, you can then, put that into an IRA and be managing that in a different way. So for retirement accounts, I'm one that leans more towards funds. I want it to be a more set it and forget it long-term thing. I don't want to, be putting Target and all of these different, companies in there, because when you invest into those individual companies, you then have to keep up with their performance. You have to be responsible of knowing when, because it might not be a 30-year investment choice. It might be, something that is not going to grow at that particular rate of, there are some blue chip companies that have withstood the test of time for that length of time, but they don't all. So you can lean more towards funds that give you exposure to hundreds, sometimes thousands of investments. And so when, companies go bankrupt, this one is having an issue, you're not going to be so heavily impacted, nor do you have to go in and rebalance and try to figure out things over and over again.
Wow. So now let's talk about for a moment the topic that a lot of people talked about. I remember when it came on the scene, and that was Bitcoins. That was that good old cryptocurrency. Let's talk about cryptocurrency a moment. And a lot of people jumped on that bandwagon quick, and they jumped in to different apps. For me, I did it through Robinhood. How do you feel about the cryptocurrency and the Bitcoins?
I do it all. I do have crypto in my portfolio, but I have even like Bank of America, names like that are now saying, in recent months that they advise you having maybe 5% of your portfolio in crypto. So it is much more mainstream. This administration, we saw, election night, they had Bitcoin and the election results on the screen together. So we know what, do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So we know what this, how things have changed when it comes to crypto. So
and here's the thing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I know when it comes to crypto, I invest into it. And I've seen the volatility of it. I've seen my Bitcoin position go from 60,000 to below 20 and then back up to 100,000. And I have the amount invested into it that I'm comfortable to see that amount of volatility with. I am willing to hold on to my crypto investments and go through 4 years of quote unquote pain, but that's what I'm ready for. I don't think that but so you have to do what is right. You have to have the balance of the percentage of money you have allocated there, and you have to be ready for a long time of recovery when it comes to crypto, potentially.
So I'm glad you said that, because sometimes what happened was, like right now, everything is down. Things are down. And so a lot of times when, I know for me, because I really wasn't familiar with it, sometimes if I see it down, I get to moving things around. And somebody might say, hey, well, this one is hot. And then you want to move it. So talk about that for a moment. Is it wise to do that, or is it better to stick and stay?
Well, you're talking about two different things here. And this is another thing that people don't have clarity on. There's investing and then there's trading. What you just said, that sounds like trading. Okay. That sounds like you want to get in, you want to get out, you want to get those fast gains, those returns, you see it go up, you're ready to sell and move on.
Right.
And that's fine. But you have to know that you are trading, you are not investing.
Right. And you're
So,
correct. You're correct. I do more trading than I do investing.
okay. So now back to our
And
hypothetical.
with my crypto, I do. Yeah.
Mhm.
With my crypto, I do. So I need to probably look into allocating funds to just invest, because it sounds like that's a pretty good way to go to. Another means of, you know, obtaining wealth is to have it for investing too.
So I put it like this. I want us, this is ideally how I would recommend someone structure their investments. If you want to have an investment account for retirement, strictly for retirement, whatever that age is for you. Okay. So you can't tap into the 401k or the IRA until after 59 and a half without penalty. So that is one investment. If you want to have investments that you can tap into potentially earlier, say you are a person that's aiming to retire at 50 years old, then you're going to have to create an account that you can tap into to bridge that gap from 50 up into 60, right? And then, have other accounts going on. Have a 529 plan for your children's education, if that's something that you want to be working on from when they are little, from when they are babies potentially. Have life insurance. Don't just lean on one account to be doing 5, 6, 7 different jobs.
It's interesting that you put life insurance there, because a lot of times people don't think about life insurance like that, in that category.
Well, I'm not saying life insurance as I'm saying in order to cover your final expenses and make sure that your family is covered.
Okay,
I'm not talking about it in the way of it as an investment.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying have things in place that are for that particular job.
So would you say that stock is a way to turn money into a tool and not just a paycheck?
Yes, definitely. It's a tool because I mean, there are different paths, of course, real estate and different types of businesses that you may know people to have, and they build wealth in that way. But for a lot of people, this is an opportunity that is available to all of us, presented through our employers. Today, so easy with you've mentioned Robinhood, and I don't use Robinhood. I use some other investment apps, but it's right at your fingertips. And I take all of my accounts seriously, no matter which platform it's on, whether it's for retirement or a taxable account that I can tap into now. It's real money that I'm putting every effort into growing. Because that is my goal. My goal here is not to lose money. My goal is to be on track to see my money multiplying, compounding, and growing.
Compounding. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love the compounding for sure. And it's available to everyone. That's the good thing about it. So do you assist others? I mean, do you have a way that people can contact you if they needed assistance and they wanted to get started and they needed guidance? Or do you offer that service?
Yes, I do have channel membership here on YouTube. I do take bookings for one-on-one, usually starting at 50 minutes of a sit down, and we will, be right here in something like this with StreamYard and work together through your issues.
Wow. And so when a person comes to you, who is the ideal client for you?
It's usually the people have been seeing me in the Discord on YouTube and really feel like I'm not on track, and I want to really comb through all of my investments and see what I can do to rebalance and make different choices. As far as who the client is, it's mostly people that are just like me, that were in my situation of realizing, hey, I think I'm behind here. I think I'm in underperforming investments, and I want to make sure to make a change and not let another day pass.
And I'm going to show you guys. So she has a YouTube channel, and on her YouTube channel, I want you to see the channel so that you can definitely go and follow her. It is here. Let me move this out the way so you can see it. This is a channel. And if you go here on her channel, she has some great videos that she shows. It's Lisa J Stocks, and if you look here, she has plenty of video that she does where she always uploads information, and you can find the information here. Different topics about beginning stocks. She has different subject, what to do different with your money. She had discussions with other people who focus on money, like Anthony Weaver from About That Wallet. She has stock conversations with other investors. So you definitely want to follow her. She has a whole community, and she says she has a membership. So I definitely recommend that you join her membership and get that consultation. Lisa J Stocks on all platforms, correct?
Yes. But
Okay.
I did share my link tree just in case there is any little different variations. They can find me. I'm definitely trying to grow my Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, as well as YouTube.
Okay, so we definitely want to do that and look at the ways that we can do that as well. And I'm trying to, this StreamYard sometimes does some crazy stuff here. That's I'm trying to get back to my other layout that I like. And it is playing with me here. Wow. Let me see here. Let's see what we got, Miss Lisa. Give me a moment. This is interesting. Though I'm gonna stay here for a moment. That's real interesting how it did that. Sometimes you don't have control. You just have to go with what you have here. So let me ask you something. Consultation, first consultation is free, and then a lot of subscriptions or membership, they have fees. You have a fee for your membership for them to join your channel for the membership?
Yes, there are 3 different tiers to my YouTube membership.
Okay, and what are the tiers?
The prices of the well,
You want them to just go find it?
Yeah, if they want to take a look, it's there. The lowest tier is $5 as a supporter, and then there are higher tiers. But
Okay.
pretty much, I'm always there to prioritize my members' questions, and will take requests for members only live streams in order to support them in any issues that they're having.
I think it's important. Some people don't understand. There are some people that may be new to YouTube and don't understand. So what she's saying is, you can go and look at the different options, and the different options, then you'll get access to do different things. According to the tier that you choose, definitely. And you also upload pretty regularly. Is there like a day that you could tell people that they can kind of find more information each week, or is it sporadic?
Well, my videos are sporadic, but I do try to stick to my live stream 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays as much as possible. So that is the day that you can usually, interact with me in the live stream for about an hour on Sunday afternoons again. But throughout the week, I post when I can get the content edited and out there.
Okay. So Lisa, what are the biggest mistakes that you're finding as you do these consultations, as you continue to do research and speak with other people in the industry? What are the biggest mistakes people are making?
There's several. I mean, we need to start as early as possible, be consistent, not turn a blind eye to it, realize the importance, because being in something underperforming, high fees, you could be losing tens of thousands of dollars that should have been there for you to take care of yourself in your older age. Like we've already touched on today, people thinking that it's too hard. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what choices to make. You don't have to choose individual stocks. There are stages to this. You don't have to be over here choosing all these different Pepe coin and Bonk coin and all these different types of crypto. No, if you want to build up your knowledge to do all these different things, then take your time and make those steps one at a time. But you can just start off by investing into a fund with a low expense ratio that gives you, diversification, a little piece of all the sectors. There are funds that give you exposure to basically every U.S. company through one investment choice. And so don't think that you have to that could be your start and finish to investing.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think it's wise for people to invest if they have the opportunity in the company they work for? Because a lot of our companies do have stock.
It depends on the company that you're working for. If you're my daughter, she has a part-time job. I'm not going to say where my daughter works, but she has a part-time job at a food place. I looked at this company stock of where she works. No, I would not invest into it. Nope.
Well, let's talk about that. So let's use a scenario.
Use a performing stock. Okay.
Give us a number, like if we're looking at a company, if we're looking at our job, what's a no? What's a no? Like, do we look at the percentage? Do we look at how much it's worth per dollar? How does one make that choice?
Okay, the stock price has nothing to do with the performance. There are some stocks that have a share price of, $3,000, $4,000. That has nothing to do with the fundamentals of the company. So don't think that the share price of an investment has nothing to do with the quality. I would rather take some Google stock at $160 than some AutoZone stock at $3,000. It's all about the fundamentals. It's about, what does this company do? Is it like using one of these names, like a Microsoft or a Google, for example? Yes. We know what these companies do. We know that they have proven themselves. We can go back. NVIDIA. Are you familiar with NVIDIA?
Yes.
Okay. So, these companies, we have seen the way that they have been thriving. We can see what their future revenue is anticipated to be. We can see each earnings report, go back for earnings and see, are they beating earnings every time? Are their, projected revenue and those type of things growing? So that's what I mean when I'm talking about a good company. But before we even have to deal with all of that, remember, we can invest into a fund that would allow us to not even have to do that work and research. You can go on to that, but take that as step 2. Make sure that you get started with step 1, which is going to be investing into a fund, which is going to be your foundation of your portfolio before you get on to those individual stocks and crypto and those different things. Or if you do it all at the same time, you're going to put this is in my opinion, you're going to be putting the most money into your foundational stock and then figure out smaller allocations into those other areas. Got
you. So I'm asking these questions intentionally because a lot of times people don't know what question to ask. And I've been told, like when coming up at school, there's no such thing as a dumb question, right? So if you don't know, you don't know. It's okay to ask. How much should a person allocate initially if they wanted to start out, if they were going to take a dollar amount to start to invest, or a percentage? Is there a recommended minimum?
No, because I'm not going to, I would never tell anyone, you have to know what your budget is. Everyone's earnings is different. Everyone's, circumstances is different. I can't tell someone who has five kids in the household and so much stuff going on that you need to invest $500 per month. They may not have it. You have to dig deep and figure out what can you invest and leave invested. That is really the point that I try to stress. I want you to, savings is one thing. Even your taxable account. I don't want you to be putting money into your brokerage account and not even give it a chance to grow and thrive.
Right.
I've seen that too, and I've been disappointed by people sharing that story to me, almost just as much as people tapping into their retirement accounts. So for me, the number is based on what you're able to do. But
so don't be discouraged if you can only do 100 and you can't do 5, but do it. Start somewhere. Start where you're at.
Start somewhere.
Start where you're at.
Yes. So I can't give you a number. I can't give you a percentage necessarily of their earnings, because they may not be able to say, Lisa, yes, I can commit 12% of our household income to get on board with this investing. If you can, if you can scrape, if your number is 7%, then let's start with 7% and let's get you started building your account. We're all going to be building it in the same way. That's what you don't be held back by the numbers. I use brokerage companies that are not limiting me by the amount that I can invest. And I don't want anyone to let a day pass that they're waiting to build up some amount of money or get this tax return and all these different things. I don't want to hear it. I want you to start right now.
Start now. So since you've been doing this now the last couple of years, have you had people come back to you and say, oh my God, Lisa, thank you, thank you, thank you? Like, you getting the testimonials where you could see and hear that they're so grateful because it's working?
I have. There was someone that I worked with around the 4th of July time this year, and he came back and sent me an update about 3 months later.
Wow.
Such a drastic improvement in his portfolio. You just don't realize. You don't realize that you need to get a handle of these things. And if we are in a bear market, your portfolio is not thriving, listen, don't let another day pass. You need to take the time to figure out what is wrong. And if you don't even understand what I'm saying by that, then
it's okay.
Let's dial that back, because this is what I'm talking about. I want you to have a standard. I want you to have a standard on the performance that you want, and I want you to have a goal of, I would like to have X amount in retirement. And if you need to know how to goal set.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? These are all elements that I think were missing in my life, and I see them missing in others. I think this was the question that you've been asking me of what mistakes. The list of mistakes, it just goes on and on and on. And I made them myself. And so, this is what I'm doing through my channel is, I'm not trying to come to you guys and say like I was always doing everything perfect. I surely was not. But if I made the mistake and now I'm willing to share what I did to turn it around, hopefully you don't have to make the same mistake, or you can make the improvement much quicker than I did.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it, guys, because I told her I'm going to definitely let her help me. You might feel some kind of way like giving somebody access to your information, but you learn to build trust, and she has a good reputation. And if you go and check out her link tree, I do have the link tree here, and if you check out her link tree, and you can find out. But the link tree you could usually put like, is it like linktree.com/Lisa J Stocks? I think you sent that to me. Let me do that.
No, I think the link tree name is Lisa J 1153.
Okay, so let me do it that way, because this one is too long. So I'm going to say Linktree, and I'm going to say .com/Lisa J, and what's the rest of it?
1153.
1153. So this is where you want to go. If you go here, it's going to take you to find and see all the different pages that she has. And then you can find out more about who she is. I mean, we certainly understand if you want to check out people, you should, because this is your money. But I say it's worth it. And you heard what she said. Don't let the numbers stop you. start where you are, and she's not going to judge you. If you can't do the 500 and you have to start with 100 or a smaller percentage, you heard her talk about percentages. Don't be prideful. You just heard her say that somebody came back in 3 months. That's pretty impressive. When you said 3 months, I said, wow. Some of us may have more than others, and some of us may have less than others. But if you go to her and say, listen, I don't have much to work with, but can you work with this? And let me see what you can do. And all she can do is say yes or no. That's all she can do. But don't deprive yourself by not doing nothing at all, and at least asking. Don't deprive yourself by not asking at all. Okay. If you don't have a 401k with your job and you don't have any access to any of these things, Lisa, if there's people who don't have access, maybe they're unemployed, or maybe they're self-employed, or maybe they just never thought to do it. Can you help people to get started?
They have access. All they have to do is to call up a brokerage company. My preferred one that I've been having a good experience with, that, like I said, does not have any limitations, high limitations for you to get started, is Fidelity.
Fidelity. I love Fidelity. That's who I'm with. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But
so
if you have
what I meant by that is maybe they didn't take initiative. So for some people, when I say they don't have access, it's that they didn't have the drive. They didn't ever think about it. They didn't ever want to do anything with it. So they simply just, in their mind, they didn't have access because, to be honest with me, going back to my first job, I started working at 16 at McDonald's. When my first time being exposed to it was through a company. It wasn't that I just decided that I wanted to do it. There's some people that do these things by themselves. They're driven. They're looking for ways to invest. They're looking for ways to trade. They're looking for ways to build wealth and make money. But there may be somebody who's not. So that's why I asked, if that person is there and they see this and they still have questions before they call Fidelity, would you help that person that's just starting out?
Yes, I mean, I do live streams, and there's probably a video that I could direct you to already, because I've been talking about this for 3 years already. But yes, everyone has access. I mean, if you have, the proper documentation, social security number, you're willing to go and set up the account, you have a bank account in order to fund it. When I say that, as long as you have those elements going on in your life, we all have access to this.
So let's clarify that. So you have to have a social security number. You have to be a U.S. citizen.
I am a U.S. citizen, and everyone that I deal with is. So I assume you have to have some type of credential to open the account. I'm not sure if you're not. I couldn't speak on non-U.S. citizens because I've set up accounts for my daughter. I've helped other people, but yes, we had our driver's license or an ID number and the social security number, birth certificate for children. I had all those type of documentation.
Okay. Do you have an age preference that you start at with people you help? Do they have to be 21 or older, or? I
want to help everyone. I want people to, I want the adults to be on track. I want, when the baby comes home and you get that social security number, I want the babies to be on track to get an account. I want, instead of all these Easter baskets and sneakers and games and Christmas and birthdays, and yes, I want one person in the family, a bunch of people going to be doing those things. I want somebody in the family to be like, okay, for all the occasions, I'm making a deposit into the UTMA or the 529. Parents, you direct me on how I can, give the contribution.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah, there's no 18, 21 or I want to help I want my channel. I'm not trying to connect with women. I'm not trying to connect with men. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to get through to a certain ethnicity. I want anyone who hears me and is interested in this content to know I'm here to support you, no matter what age, I don't have any.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So what she's saying is, if you want it, she wants it for you. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter. So that's really good. So that means the door is open. You don't have any reason to hold back. And I will say this to you, if you're a person that has disposable income, I would say reach out to her. Like, I mean, if you really, I mean, if you blowing money, you heard what she said. If you're out there doing those things, sometimes we spend money on things and, all these material things and unnecessary things. And we have these lavish, taste that we want to do this and do that. And think about how much some of us blow in a week doing things like eating out and nails and hair and bundles of hair, all that stuff. So maybe you need to reconsider. This could be a way to help you or your family or your parents or your children. So this is serious, y'all. This is serious. So when we talk about ownership, when we talk about wealth, when we talk about protection, passive income, you can have all these things and there's levels to it. And it depends on what you want. So Lisa, I thank you so much for sharing your heart about this, because I can hear that you really, 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 really want to help people. You really want to help people to do this. And we're gonna make this thing work. We're gonna bring this to the people. I would love to have you maybe once a month that we come in, and I'd love to make it so people can come and maybe they could interact with us, and they can interact and I'm going to take clips of this and share this out. We're going to see who's willing. Maybe sometimes if people can be transparent enough. I know I sent you some stuff. Did you see anything in what I sent you where there could be some corrections made or changes made or anything, or I didn't send you enough?
Well, in the first set of information that you sent me, I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to. I think I was more prepared with it when we were originally supposed to meet.
Okay, well, that's fine. So
we can lost a little track, but I'll tell you one thing that I noticed. You sent me a taxable account, I believe, yes. Robinhood.
Yes.
It was all individual stocks. Yes. So you have no foundation. You have no funds. You have no stability in there.
Not in that account. Yes, you're right. Yes. You're right.
And there weren't, and out of all the names, I would say Apple and Nvidia are quality, and all of those rest of those are those ones that are going to take that extra work, take that responsibility. Maybe are primarily trade status, not investment status. When it comes to a portfolio, there are some companies with those large market caps, like I've mentioned today, a Microsoft, a Google, Tesla, Nvidia, Apple. There are certain companies where there's going to be less long-term worries about, and then once we get out of that Mag 7 or say maybe the top 12 companies as far as market cap in the US, then I'm going to be putting a little bit more work into having an understanding, staying on top of their fundamentals, because I don't want to ever be stuck with an underperforming investment that's come down, that's in the red, and now I'm over here holding. Yeah. No. There are certain things I have confidence pretty much that it's going to recover. There are certain things happen that impact the entire stock market, like we went through with, C-19 or with this administration and all this about the tariffs. Every company was impacted. The whole stock market dipped, and we have to know which ones are ones that we can hold and not even worry, not even, stress about at all. Right. And there are a few of those for me. Those are quality companies, but before I add something, I have to be comfortable with it, or yes. I have to know that I'm wearing my trader hat, and this is going to be, Lisa, when this goes up, we're getting out.
Okay. So Lisa, let me ask you this. There are some of us like myself. It's not that we're not interested. It's like you said, you love numbers, right? Some of us, maybe they're juggling too much and they want to do this, but they don't have time. Can they pay you to either handle their account as, I guess, kind of like a broker to do the trading or to do the investing on their behalf?
No, not on their behalf. I mean, I would say like my one-on-ones, I'm going to fit with you, I usually ask for my client to send me the information or the funds that they want to know. Send me if they're, especially sometimes they might be with a broker that I'm not familiar with, and they have to let me know what investment choices are available to them through their employer's plan, which, those are more specific things. So I had someone reach out to me, and his company for his retirement account used TD Price. And so that was my first time, but I had to sit down and I had to get a handle of combing through what was available to him, and then, getting an understanding of those ticker symbols and what's going on over there. And that's the same person that I mentioned that within 3 months saw a drastic improvement. But no, I'm not doing it for you. I'm going to, I look at it like this, like it's a brainstorming session. It's me giving support. It's me giving some insights. But ideally, ultimately, I want you to make the decision that works for you, because my risk tolerance, even if I would say at your age, I would do such and such, your risk tolerance may not be what mine is. But I'm going to give you encouragement and then try to, like I said, direct you to creating a balance that I think is realistic. Someone might say, oh, Lisa, I want to be a little bit more aggressive, or no, I think we need to dial this back a little bit. But I want it to be like that because I want to create what is right for the particular person's needs and goals. And like I said, their risk tolerance may not be what I want for them. I'm in a place where I want to be a bit more aggressive with my portfolio because I want to see the growth, but in a responsible way.
Yes. Okay. So you can't pay her to do it for you. You're gonna be working together. She's gonna do it with you. She's gonna show you how to do it. This is an area that you really, really, really don't want to delegate. You really want to get hands-on experience because it's your money. It's our money. Let me include myself. It's our money. We need to know what our money is doing. We need to be proactive. We need to be nosy about it. We need to know. We need to be have understanding so that when these people are doing things, if they're not available, we could do it for ourselves because it's our own money. So let me ask you this as we get ready to try to wrap this up, Lisa. And I thank you so much for taking time, for coming and doing this with me and having this conversation. Any companies we need to stay away from? I mean, sometimes you might say, "Oh, stay away from that." That's a no. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe that's not a yes or no question. But I just had to ask.
I can't. I don't want to name a company. I want you to be in tune with where you are. Okay, so we're not going to just, me and you, we're not just going to get up and go run the 10K, right? We gotta start. First we're going to be walking, then we're going to be jogging, then we're going to maybe do the 3K. You know what I'm saying? Right. So let me know, what do you currently have? What is let me know where you're at. And then we can determine if you're ready to, go to those more speculative things. Are you responsible? Do you know how to do the research? It's not a one size fit all thing. Is there, like I said, for someone starting off, I would say, I want you to be predominantly in funds. I don't want you picking individual stocks until you have an understanding of what that responsibility is. And then once you do start to choose those individual stocks, I want those large market cap companies that have been around, that have a competitive advantage in the market, like Meta. Meta is the name behind Facebook and Instagram and Threads and WhatsApp. So what company can compete with a Meta? Another company, it's struggling right now, but they've had a lot going on, is Netflix. Name some companies that you want to invest into, and then we need to dig into the fundamentals.
And I think I'm investing in Netflix too. Okay. I think Netflix is on my list.
So, it depends. For someone starting out, I want to know that you are in a company that is really out there thriving, proving themselves, being an industry leader.
So, just based on what you just said, with my limited understanding, would it be safe to say I need to switch from Netflix to Meta?
Not what in what account? I'm not big about switching. Why is it an either or? It's
Okay.
both. It's okay. Well, I'm not. I'm,
Meta too. Okay, got you.
yeah, I'm invested into Google. I've been investing into Google for some time now, but that doesn't mean that I didn't go over here and buy some Microsoft too.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean that I have.
If you're just coming in, we're talking to Lisa J. Stocks. What do you call yourself, Lisa? Do you call yourself a broker or analyst or stock analyst?
I'm just a regular person who
I know,
I am not a financial professional. I am not a fiduciary. I am not a licensed financial advisor. I do not hold any credentials. Yes. Okay, I am a person. I am a person that is sharing their journey, who has really put a lot of effort into getting an understanding of my finances, sharing, about my portfolios, sharing about individual companies and funds that I've been, I've had success with. And, like I said, I'm a person that is now wanting to encourage people to do the things that we've touched on today. Set goals, have an understanding of, set goals and have an understanding of what you want to see achieved when it comes to your money. Have a standard. I think a lot of people, they don't know what they're invested into. They don't have a standard of what the performance they expect their portfolio to be achieving. So there's just so many steps to it. Like, I'm looking at my breakdown. So for example, the S&P 500 in 2025 returned an average percentage of about 14%. Then the 2 prior years, 2024 and 2023, about 25%. So when you look at your portfolio, was that how your portfolio grew? 25%, 14%? Because
you need to see growth. In other words, we need to look at it. We need to be able to
you need to be looking at something. What is my standard? And then this is the bar. Let me look at what I achieved. If you're over here achieving 10%, I had someone share with me that they looked at their account and it was like 2 point something percent. In a bear market, his high yield savings account earned more than the investment account because of what he was invested into. Thankfully,
and some of us don't know. And that could be the case with many of us, because we're not really paying attention because we just didn't know better, But now, what they say: if you know better, you do better.
Yes.
So today we're learning, and we're going to do better. So Lisa J. Stock just told you that no, she doesn't have all those titles and all those credentials, but what she does have is a heart of compassion. She has a heart, to want to help anyone who wants to do better, anyone who has been ignoring their portfolio up to this point. They've been ignoring the money that they are matching with their companies at work. If you're just tuning in now, I just need you to grab a hold of this. This young lady has a YouTube channel, and the name you see on the bottom of the screen, Lisa J. Stocks, you can pretty much find her all around. You see her pretty face. This is what the face is going to look like when you go to those pages. She's always uploading and providing information about how you can get educated and more empowered, and how you can change your financial situation. If you haven't been doing it up to date, she's not going to judge you, but she's going to help you. She has 3 tiers on her channel. You can go to her YouTube channel. She has 3 tiers. One of them as low as $5. She will give you a 50-minute, almost an hour consultation and go over what you have and help you. So there's no excuse. I'm going to do it, and I'm encouraging you to do it too. And we're going to invite her to come back. We're going to work something out to see what we can do. Like, if you have questions, we can make it interactive. But let's do this, guys. Listen, we need to do better. And no age requirement. She's willing to help the young. She's willing to help the older. She's willing to help everybody and meet you where you are. So there's really, 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 really no excuse. Lisa, I want to thank you. I am going to do this. I'm going to put the camera on you to let you do like a closing remarks or information. Pretty much I want you to say once again your name, how they can reach you. I want you to repeat once again when you do upload on your channel, and tell the people why Lisa Stocks. Why should they come to Lisa Stocks for this? And just give them your heart. Give them your heart. And then we'll close out with that. I'll come back and then we'll call it a night. I want to thank you once again for being here, for sharing. I want to thank you, and I pray that God gives you back the desires of your heart 100-fold for all the time and energy that you're taking to do this, because you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to take your mistakes and your lessons and turn them into blessings for others. You didn't have to do that. So I want to say thank you. Kudos to you. And so I'll put the camera on you. If StreamYard will let me do what I need to do. This is so funny because it's doing that. That's the reason why. Let's do it. There we go. Okay.
Okay. Again, Crystal, thank you for having me on. And listen, guys, I am just a regular person. First generation born in the US. I was a teenage mom. I had a lot of struggles. I did not come from money. And started working full time when I was a teenager, before even 20. And I now see that the importance of money management, prioritizing certain things in order to build wealth, no matter what your budget is. And so I want to share my journey and the improvements that I've been striving to make through my channel to improve the future outlook for myself and my family. So please check out my channel. I am Lisa J. Stocks on YouTube. And from there, you can find my link tree that can bring you to my email, my Instagram, and other places if you need to or want to get in contact with me. But please check out my channel, support the channel, and I'm here to support everyone.
Yay! There she has it, ladies and gentlemen. Lisa Stocks, man, I'm telling you right now, you really, really, really want to get with her. She has a heart of gold. I want to say, go support her, go follow her. If you go follow her, say, listen, I saw you on the channel with Crystal. I'm here. I want you to check me out. And please, if you're watching this on her channel, come check me out. Come follow me. Oh, here is story time. This is where we share your story. Your story matters, okay? Just like she's sharing her story and everything that she went through, you have one too, whatever it is. And we want to thank you. We want to say Godspeed to you. We'll be back Thursday. This Thursday is election season, y'all. It's that time. It's that time. It's that time. We need to get out and vote. We need to understand it's not just about voting for the president. You have to be able to vote in every session, okay? So you need to vote those leaders in place so that they can help. All right. And so Thursday, I'll be doing a midday session at 2:30. Then we'll be back Sunday night. Sunday night, we will air a show with Dr. Carol Diggs on Adult Beyond Medicine. So we're going to have something for you every week, guys. Every week we're coming at you with so much information. So please follow the channel, subscribe. Thank you. Be blessed. Lisa, once again, God bless. I look forward to talking to you. I'll make sure I do what I need to do to follow up. Ladies and gentlemen, my mission as a hope catalyst is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. You've been watching Storytime Podcast with Shell Crystal. I'll see you on the next Storytime. Everybody, good night. Bye, Lisa.
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey!